that, figuratively speaking, the toys are starting to come out of the cot.
Ball just above Hannah's feet. 136 front, that's the number. This is 8 iron.
Oh.
Oh, that was a really challenging angle to come at this particular green. Ideally, you want to be a little bit further left than that, because those bunkers were not the spot to be. Well, it's got to be very disappointing for Kari, and you know she's worked so hard to try and get back, and you can certainly understand her frustration.
Well, the easy line, Jane, is does this change her approach to the year?
I doubt it.
Yeah, that's.
I doubt it. I mean, bitter disappointment if she doesn't make the cut, but it's not going to change.
It's life. Players
Yes.
miss the cut, they come back and they bounce back, and then they can go on to win. That's a big disappointment, it being her national open. But it's a blip, and that's what these players are so good at, is putting it behind them and moving on. You've got to look forward in this game.
You have to, don't you, Kate, really?
Yeah, it's belief that carries you, because more often than not you get dusted up in this game. So
yeah, the winning percentage is not very often.
Yeah, and of course the reason I asked that is in the context of how her career seemed to be on track to Rio, and then it was going to take a different course, but the course was changed before the Olympics because she didn't make it.
She was bitterly disappointed about that. It took her a long while to really recover, I think, emotionally.
So second shot for Henderson here, and gets it to stop. Well, still a good chance of an eagle. Now, apologies, that was her third shot at 17. We'll just double check on that. But meantime.
Well, you saw her caddy, Johnny Scott, talking to her on the way up to her golf ball, and that's important for a caddy when your player starts to get down on themselves. You've got to try and right the ship a little bit. She has the ability to chip this one in. Okay.
On most days, safe for 3. But today's not most days for Kari Webb.
That's a brilliant shot from Handa, Jane. That was not an easy shot from there.
There was a significant lip on that bunker, so popped it up in the air. And a very realistic chance of getting one back for Zhang.
Now, Pernilla Lindberg missed the green to the right in this low swale. Green well above the level of her golf ball. Beautifully done. It's a pretty popular spot over there on the right. I have to say, I've been there many a time in my day. Well, this is where we saw Celine Herbin chip in from. Lids hasn't judged it quite as well.
She hasn't missed a cut since the 2015 PGA, Lydia Ko. She's right on the precipice. Nelly Corder, looking to become the 3rd member of her family to win an Australian Sporting Championship.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a story? 2 was incredible.
Yes, well, she'll be scissor kicking by the end of the weekend. And their brother is a hot shot at tennis as well on the junior circuit. Peter Corder travels with him quite often. Crikey, I hope the mum's sporty too.
Not to be for Henderson. Hardly seen a putt go down from this group on the back 9. Ooh, Martin. She's had a few moments of brilliance from tricky positions. That's not one of them, Jane.
No, that was from the downslope, and that was always going to be a difficult one to judge.
Oh,
come
that
on.
was tentative.
There is some vortex over this group at the moment.
Yes, and it's not, it's almost like a Bermuda Triangle or something, isn't it?
It was such a good front nine for Zhang. 3 birdies on the front nine, a couple of bogeys on the back nine for Zhang. Just slowing down.
Now, just to confirm, Henderson still has a birdie putt to come. So indeed, approach was her second, and that putt we saw a moment ago was for eagle. But this is for birdie for Lydia, and that's essentially par today on this hole, which is averaging just over 4.
4, yeah. Yeah, certainly with this prevailing wind, it is playing much easier.
Ah, yes. A little bit of safety there for the world #1. Gets it back to the red numbers with 1 to play on her second round. Well, Martin's day is getting a little shaky as well at the back end.
A little bit of an early peak there from Mo Martin. Keep her head nice and still, as she had done earlier.
So a 5 for Handa Zhang, but dropping one on the field, essentially.
Yes, that will feel like a bogey.
Rid the demons for a moment. Clear the head. Take care of business. Kari to get to 17 with some life. Yes, well done.
Eagle birdie required for Webb.
Henderson only missing 1 cut last year as well, so unfamiliar territory for both Coe and Henderson, but picking up birdies on the relatively kind 17th to give them a bit of levity going to the last. Breeze not as strong as it can get around these parts, but the greens have been the undoing of many today, not so much the players you see here. Catherine Kirk, 10 under and a lead up by 2 over a group of 4 players at 8 under. Martin for birdie, or for bogey, should I say. It's been birdie most of the day, but a few bogeys creeping in. And down to 4 under now. Don't want to undo a day of good work on the last couple. And Pernilla Lindberg, would you believe it? She got to 1 under on the second, gave it back on the 6th, and has been even par right on the cut line for the rest of the day.
Kirk is playing her 3rd shot on the 6th hole. Found the fairway bunker and had to splash out. Oh, what has been the hardest hole yesterday. Still, a par is in the reckoning for Catherine.
No room for error for Henderson. Down her closer. Oh dear.
Wind will be coming strongly off her left. This is... Ooh.
That can be really tricky in there.
I'm not sure if it made the bunker or if it's over in the rough, Quentin, so we'll have to wait and see.
Well, perhaps she's got one shot to play with to get to the weekend, but as is the case for Coe, that looks a little safer.
That will be fine. Well, Adelaide's beaches are absolutely sensational. And all the way along the Glenelg shore, you've got the Padwalunga River that all of those beautiful boats are moored at. There's some great places to eat at the marina as well. And there's Adelaide Airport and the city over there in the background. And the Adelaide Hills. Great spot. Adelaide's proud to have this championship.
So Henderson are off to the right. Coe safely on the fairway, and that looks perfect from Handa Jang.
Yeah, I doubt you could walk it any better than that, Kate.
Now it's a good drive as well.
But the penultimate is 17, which has been ripped apart by these players over the first 2 days.
Well, it really has, and it's been redesigned a couple of times, and these groupings of bunkers in the middle of the fairway, a little bit controversial. The best angle to this green really is the left, but if you run out of fairway, you could end up with a really tough lie. Plenty of room out to the right, but if you are going down the right side, it brings these bunkers into play. The green slopes slightly from left to right and from front to back. So lengthwise, it's not that tricky, but you've got to be precise off the tee, and then you can't afford to miss this green either, as it's a tricky up and down. Hole today, 13 on and 10 off the left. Definitely played under par for sure.
Averaged 4.3 yesterday and averaging just under 4.1 today.
Kari opting to go down the right side, and really with the breeze behind, not much problem down that right side, is it, Kate?
No, and I haven't seen anybody go left off the tee.
Yeah.
It's a little bit too risky. Oh dear. Now Henderson, she is 1 under. At the moment, the cut is even par. And as you can see, she wasn't exactly delighted with that.
Hannah Green, meanwhile, continues to play lovely golf at her National Open.
It's a nice compact golf swing. And a beautiful result.
They'll be getting excited in the West, Jane. But for now, Handa Jang.
Long and right here for Handa Jang. Wind's really pushing the balls over towards the right-hand side of 18 right now.
Yeah, that wind is coming strongly out of the southwest, and it's really going to hit the exposed parts of the course, about where Catherine Kirk is right about now.
So this a par save after her trouble off the tee, if she can drain it. So she'll slip away from minus double figures under for the time being. Catherine Kirk. Just her second bogey today. She also bogeyed 12, starting on the back 9. But still leads by 1 at 9 under.
.129 here for Lydia. Ball's headed out to the right as well.
Oh, and it's drifted into that bunker right.
The player's not allowing anywhere near enough to the left for this breeze.
This one's headed a little low, a little left for Brooke. Needs to check up quickly.
Alison, have you noticed the body language collectively of this group change?
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch, especially over the back of 15. That was when I think that was a real breaking point for Brooke. I could see her having a chat with her sister on the bag, and she didn't look too happy about how things were going for her. But Lydia's been pretty good. Obviously a bit beaten down by the day, but still going about her business like a professional, as you'd expect.
Yeah, and that's one of Lydia Ko's strengths. I would agree, Alison, is her attitude and her just demeanor, calmness. Nothing really ruffles her. You wouldn't know really whether she's shooting 65 or 75.
It's just one of those tough explainables as to how it sometimes happens all among the same group. We'll leave them for the moment. This has got to be super from the Hall of Famer. Eagle birdie to finish. Well, if someone can do it, perhaps Kari can.
Well, there have been a number of eagles here today.
Chasing, chasing, dancing, but a long eagle putt.
Well, there's a chance.
So as Webb ponders a weekend without playing at her National Open for the first time, we ponder what the day's told us here. Essentially, Catherine Kirk's been solid. Sarah Jane Smith has played some excellent golf, and again the international flavour of this week on the tour, which is such a special week for those from this part of the world. Back to 18.
Well, it's not bad, but it's work to do for Handa Zhang, who is so much better on the front knives. Just loss of concentration on the back, couple of careless drop shots.
Well, battling the breeze sometimes can take a lot out of you mentally. Not as much physically, but certainly mental concentration, judgment. This is a beautiful play by Mo Martin.
Come on back.
This green's a little bit shaped like a potato chip, isn't it, Kate? It's got a couple little undulations.
And that, Mo's happy with that shot. An iron for Mighty Mo.
Set tall. That'll run away. Will it? Oh, gee. Looked awesome for a moment and then deadly as it got past the hole. And the second best of the Aussies, Sarah Jane Smith, trying to join Catherine Kirk at 9 under.
Not a rare birdie. At the 16th, just slips by. Good for pace. Just didn't quite pick the right line. But gave it a go, which is good. I like to see that.
One of our marquee groups about to finish off on the Friday. Brooke Henderson and Lydia Ko in rare territory of dancing with the devil. That is the cut line here at the Australian Open. It's level par and Ko's just above it. So she'll drop one there.
It's been a very trying day for the world number one.
And it looks like she will survive the last missed cut of the 2015 PGA Championship. So it's been a long time since Lydia's had a Saturday and Sunday off. But looks like she's got there by the skin of her teeth. Our leader.
.142 metres today into the breeze. Just manages to get onto the front of the green. That's going to be a lengthy one.
This is a par saver for Handa Zhang. She ran it through the break as well, and there's work to do in that putt.
We saw that yesterday, didn't we, in the afternoon, Kate, where our groupings really struggled on the greens. And I do think that the wind can affect the putts. I mean, it's not a gale out there, but these greens are quite exposed for the most part.
Yes, and they're running beautifully. They're running true. This player's getting used to them.
You know, they're running just under 11 feet, and they're bent. Combination of 4 different strains of bent grass. Okay. Now, disappointing bogey to end the day. So, even par for Handa Zhang.
Now Sarah Jane Smith stays at 8 under. Almost won at the Gold Coast. A tweaked event at Royal Pines, no longer the Ladies Masters. So she's brought some good form here to Royal Adelaide. And a knee knocker here for Henderson to ensure that she doesn't have any further action today beyond this putt. Not the script we've expected today for this group. And the back 9 saw it unravel. Well, really, that double on 8 was the start of it, Kate.
Well, at a round of 77, you'd have to go a long way back in Brooks' career, certainly in the LPGA, to find out when she had such a high score. Unfortunately, it was a back 9, just littered with bogeys.
The worst round since a 79, which was the second round at Malaysia in October.
Now, Catherine Kirk, all the way from the front of the green, breaking a little to her left. Oh, not a bad lag at all there. Would have been nigh on a miracle to make that one. But a par is not a bad score here at the 7th.
Kirk is quietly going about her business, starting on the opposite side of the golf course, starting on 10, just cruising, flying under the radar. She still holds 1 shot cushion over her nearest challengers.
Sounded a tad thin. Not real solid contact. Will it stay on the green? No. Again, those little upturned saucers that these greens seem to resemble. Claim another victim. I think she'll probably still be able to putt that, though.
Well, this putt is crucial for Webb. She is 3 over. The cut looks like it's going to be even par. This is for eagle. This would get 2 back, and then going to have to make a birdie on 18.
Well, one thing I know for sure, this is going to get 110% of concentration and effort.
Plenty of fingernails being gnawed across Australia right now. Tracking well. Oh, dear.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Yet again, it's a matter of anguish and agony on this Friday at Royal Adelaide for Kari Webb. Back to where it all began with her first professional tournament in 1994. And it's not going to be a happy 21st Australian Open for the Hall of Famer and 5-time winner of this event. A little cooler earlier on in the day when she had a jacket on. This is at 3.
Well, this was just a gorgeous little pitch shot. She'd go on to make birdie on that one, Quentin.
And then she followed it up on the 13th hole with another chance of a birdie. She was 4 over at this stage. She had to get into second gear. And she did.
And you thought at this point that she
It was
could
a glimmer
just
of hope.
claw her way back.
She's out setting herself up for another birdie on the 14th hole. It tracked beautifully in.
And then unfortunately for Kari, she hit a very poor layup on 15 into the fairway bunker, and that really derailed the rest of her chances. Now Shi Yulin from China. Good solid player. 6 under par, putting up a very strong, she's a very happy camper. Aussie Marty Lunn on the bag.
That's playing alongside the leader, Catherine Kirk, these past 2 days. Good chance of an eagle for Mo.
Gee, that looked good for a long time. Really dived. Still a birdie to stop a run of a couple of bogeys for Mo Martin.
Almost.
It's going to be a great weekend for Hannah Green.
Well, I think so. I mean, this young lady is a prodigious talent, there's no doubt. I mean, her amateur record was extraordinary. Already a couple of wins in the Pro-Am series. Trying to put together a Hall of Fame career like this woman.
Well, she's back under par for the day, Kari Webb. Started the day at 3 over. Birdie there on 17, but it's the most muted reception for a birdie I think you'll ever see, particularly with the state of her tournament and also the way that this hole has given itself up throughout the opening couple of days. So if you're not 4 or better here, Martin takes her 4. You're giving up shots to the field. So Martin 5 under. And, well, finds a smile again. So where does that place her? Currently 4 behind the lead of Catherine Kurt. A really good look at the scorecards throughout what is a field of 144 here at the 2017 Australian Open. So Amy Bolden, a great round today. 68 for her. Minjee Lee, another of the Australian hopes. She's the Australian #1 at world number 17 at the moment. 3 under for the day. And Sue Oh, the other Olympian from the host nation here, will start her weekend at 3 under. Anna Jang, we've followed her closely throughout the day. Beth Allen still with work to do, playing the front 9 now through 13 holes of her day. Maria Jatanagan, 7 back. Fair bit of chasing to do for the world #2, as is the case for all of these players here. Top 70 plus ties going through to the weekend because it's a national open. Bit of a tweak to the regulations. Don't worry about the amateur players. Nope, just top 70 and ties. And then the others can have the weekend off. And it's a bit too close to that line for Brooke Henderson and Lydia Ko. So Ilhee Lee, Andrika, Davidson Yin, Matsumori there, the start of the group that can lament. Although there are a number of these players, the likes of Jenny Shin, needing to birdie her last hole to make the cut. She's been pretty consistent in Australia over the years, Jenny Shin. Not so much to start this year. And Danielle Kang, who was so prominent at Grange, she's gone. So there are the players that, still a handful there. Yanni Sen, looking to do some good work to make the weekend. Got a couple of holes to play, and grand old dame Laura Davies, unfortunately, She won't be here at the weekend. What a champ she is. Keeps turning up, though. What an ambassador for the game. And Katrina Matthew, unfortunately for her, a former champion here, doesn't make the cut. But Catherine Kirk's on the right track.
Across Australia and across the world.